Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second of two marketing clinic sessions focused on AI and marketing. Just some general programmatic stuff, and I say this all the time, but this is now the last week of the personal finance learning. It's been an awesome experience this year to see all these different some new facilitators come in, also so many new businesses interacting with this learning. I'm hoping it's been beneficial to you all. I'm going to be gathering feedback via surveys just to see what you all thought of it, see if we can make it better, see if there's any topics you wanted to cover. Tomorrow is the final session on retirement planning. So same times as always. Please make sure you're there. Um, I'm looking forward to those sessions. And then in terms of the marketing clinics, we're putting a pause on the clinics in in September. September is going to be a no learning month. September, the whole point is to digest the learning on the program, digest that emotions of finance learning, the personal finance learning, and not just digest it, but start to implement it. So if you haven't put a savings plan together or a budget together, this is a good time to focus on that. If there were certain topics that really spoke to you and you feel like you need to work on those, September's a great time to do that because we're not going to be doing any learning during that month. So it's really an implementation month. Other than that, no major updates. There won't be a mixer in September that I'll be at, but if people want to share an event that I can invite everyone to, please just send me the details. I'll forward it to the whole cohort. There's no need for me to be at every event, so please, if you have any ideas for an event, I can organize it. So that's it from my end. I'm going to hand things over to our brilliant host, Orhan, who's going to continue the AI and marketing theme. And I've just enabled screen sharing, so you should be good as well.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you as always. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Took me a minute to realize what day it was. Um, I always talk about how I'm ease and flow, and man, I don't know what's going on, but it has been moving. And so I have done my best to remain centered. One of the things that have me off center is I may need to take a very important repair person call today. Not even going to talk about what needs to be repaired, but it is vital to the function of a civilized household that all of a sudden needed to stop working yesterday, only 4 days before Labor Day, where I will have maybe company and family coming. But without this thing functioning, we're canceling. Nevertheless, a little, but yes, I don't know what's going on in the world, but thank God we have repair. There's a lot of advantage in living in rural America. One disadvantage is getting speedy response repair individuals. But we're going to know it's going to be okay. So AI can do a lot of things. The one thing it cannot do is repair the thing I need done. But we're going to talk about AI today. And so specifically using prompts. Um, Last week, we kind of talked about the different possible programs that you can use for each of the things. And so today, we're going to talk about how prompts um, make better results, create better results for you. I've often said I'm an active user of AI for multiple different things. And so let's just kind of talk about what AI prompts are. And to kick us off, we're going to let Chat GPT use it as it is. Let's see, am I sharing? Yep. Share my screen. So we Chat GPT is kind of like my go-to outside of like the Canvas and things like that. So what is an AI prompt? Okay. So by typing in the question, what is an AI prompt? That is actually a prompt. And I'm going to go through some slides that talked about the different types of prompts. But a prompt is kind of what it says is it actually prompts the AI model to give you the information that it needs. So it's an input or instruction. typically for a language model like ChatGPT to generate a response. It acts as a starting point for the AI to produce text or answer questions, perform tasks, create content, and other AI platforms to generate images, lists, and things like that. Prompts can be very simple, like what is an AI prompt? Or more complex, providing detailed instructions and content and context. I use quite a bit of more complex um, prompts, and I'm just thinking, I think there's maybe one I might even pull. But again, write me a short story, explain the benefits. What is the, asking a question. And so with that, and what's interesting then, as a practice before we got on this, I asked the same question. I closed my browser, but because I'm logged in with my Chat GPT account, look at the difference in these two answers. The one I asked a few minutes ago, like it doesn't show, but right before we got on our web meeting today or our Zoom meeting, I asked the same question: what are AI prompts? This one gave me a much more detailed list. So my point in that, sometimes it may be beneficial to ask the same question again if you're not quite satisfied with what you're getting. Another option is to clear that chat conversation and start a new one, because if you notice just the difference in size, right, in quantity. And this one, actually, I was like, oh, look, this is great. Gave me great answers. There's text generation prompts, answering questions. It can give creative ideas, help with programming. I used this the other day to answer a search engine, not going too much off script here. We're working on a website, and the client asked me a question about H1 tags, so heading tags, H2 tags, et cetera, as they relate to organic search rankings in blog posts. That the page title would have an H1, but then the title of the blog would have an H1. So in good coding, you don't have conflicting H1 titles. I had never been asked this question in 24 years. And so I actually used AI to explain the effects of using two H1 titles on a blog page specifically, because that's a different kind of indexing that Google does than on a content page. But I was blown away that it gave such a thorough answer that the client and I, we were in a Zoom meeting, were able to discover. Another thing, I do website updates myself using like WordPresses and things of that. But every now and then, I actually have to do the code for them because the actual thing doesn't provide the answer I want. So the other day I was stumped on how to get HTML coding in a WordPress editor to respond. And I went into ChatGPT and specifically said, how can I do this and resolve this? And here's the challenge I'm having. It actually spit out the code that I was able to copy and paste. So I'm sharing that with you as well, because many of you manage your own websites, whether it's Shopify, Square, or whatever. So if there's something you're trying to accomplish in your web updates, go to the Chat GPT, go to the AI models that you're using, and ask for solutions. Could not believe I got code given to me that worked when I put it inside of the update. Obviously, you have learning and education prompts, and of course, productivity, emails, writing reports. Did I tell y'all this last week? I don't know if I told y'all this, and if I repeat myself, I apologize. So I was working with a client, one of our clients here with Flyte, and we were working on creating a personal finance spreadsheet. But I didn't have any on file, and so I went to Chat GPT, and I said, create a personal finance worksheet. I think I'm still sharing my screen. Okay. So of course, the initial response it gave me is the text. The ChatGPT defaults to text. So it does this wonderful thing: income, expenses, so and so. But here's coming up in a minute is the part that blew me away, and I did not know you can do this. And that's why I always usually say when I start out these conversations is by the time I've decided to have a conversation about AI, the AI model has changed or someone knows more than I do. And so I didn't even know this was even an availability. So if you're looking on the screen, you can see it's creating all the different categories. Then it's tips. I'm going to do it. Yes. No. Okay, it gave me a different prompt, but let me see. Can you create an Excel? It gave me a button that said, would you like to create an Excel spreadsheet? And I was blown away. Uh-oh, I'm stumping it. Because I had never seen that button pop up before. Let's see what's happening here. Or maybe I shouldn't have said Excel. Maybe I should just say spreadsheet. Let's see what the answer comes out. But as it's working, but it was amazing. All I did is I clicked the button. Here we go. Boom. Here we go. Download. Right. My downloads. So it has taken the information that I have. No, that is not what it did. So this kind of goes back to, let me actually open what it created for me. It created this. So it created a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tab Excel spreadsheet that had the different categories: income with the components, fixed expenses, variable expenses, savings, etc. So in this case, and I'm not going to take our valuable time today to do this, I would actually go back and start over now that I know that it can be done. But yes, maybe it's because it's called personal. But anyway, I'm not going to get caught on it. But again, understanding what prompts can do and what instructions you can do to get the results you want. So now let me jump to PowerPoint. So again, AI prompts. So there's different types of AI prompts that we're going to kind of touch on. And if anybody wants to add something to them, please do. And then we'll kind of go through these. But there's many different kinds. And again, understanding that the prompt is the actual instruction or direction or information you give that AI model to begin giving you the results that you're looking for. So creative prompts, as as the title says, it sparks creativity by generating various types of content, depending on what your preferences are, whatever your audience preferences are, including writing short and long form writing, creating artwork, creating music, creating videos. For instance, you might receive a prompt like craft a social media post for Mother's Day, or compose an email introducing a new product. These are creative prompts that instruct the AI model to produce what it is you're looking for the creative style. Create an image. You can talk about that. We talked a little bit about that Grok add-on in Twitter, where you can give it direction on images that you want. I haven't played with that. I just haven't had time. But again, giving creative instruction for what you're looking at, and being very granular in your instructions because it can understand that. Informational prompts. Informational prompts, they use computer programs to sift through tons of data to find key information. You ask a question or give a topic, and the program gives you a simple summary of what it finds. It's like having a very advanced smart assistant that goes through big piles of information without you having to read through it. Right now I'm working on continuing to work on a grant for a proposed project for youth and mindfulness, especially in disadvantaged communities. And so I'm pulling a lot of data. I need statistics. I need numbers. And so I'm actually using some of the AI platforms to find valid statistics that I can use in my report as I answer questions about this grant to help kids. You can, for example, you can ask a AI system to provide a summary of customer reviews for a particular product to understand what customers like or dislike about it. So it'll gather that. So you can get very informational that then you can use in your marketing, in your communications in your messaging, or if you're compiling reports or creating information internally and externally. So informational prompts is another type. So reasoning prompts. So it works by using smart algorithms to help think through problems and come up with logical answers. So it's like having like a super smart friend who can help you figure out tricky questions or make decisions by thinking things through. So example, analyze customer feedback and online reviews to pinpoint areas for improvement in your products or services. And then you can get recommendations on how to enhance your customer satisfaction and boost your business. And so that's another way of using reasoning prompts to do that. Um, let's practice with one of these. Here we go, going back. How can I get you to analyze my customer reviews to pinpoint strengths and weaknesses? Let me just go to my Google review. Use my company's designs interactive, and I have a Google business profile, and my website is designsinteractive.com. All right. I haven't done this one yet. I haven't actively done this. Okay. Export customer reviews. Okay. Preparing the data. Keyword. Okay. Using tools. Okay. Now, okay. So once you export it, I can actually upload the review data here. And then, so this is basically telling me how to go get that data, what to do with it. And then once I'm done, and then I can upload that file here. Would you like to proceed with collecting and analyzing reviews, or do you need more detailed steps? See what it does here. Okay. It's basically telling me, it's giving me instructions on what to do and then place it here. I'm not going to take our time to do that. But again, another way of using a different type of another type of prompt, which is the reasoning prompt. Okay. I'm using list prompts, listicle prompts. I'm constantly using lists. I think that's one of the more active ones I do when I'm creating like blog posts, etc. So, create a list of 7 ways a small business owner can do this, or 7 ways that somebody can use AI prompts to do this. 5 tips, they gave some examples here, but it really gives you some great information on creating lists that you can use for your own personal marketing purposes or in creating content. So let's go ahead and play with that for a second. Create a list of ways that a small business can use AI to help them in their content. So again, you're using the word create me a list. And it's basically going to do that. Content creation. It gives the different ways of doing that. Personalization. You'll notice I use quite a bit for this in my own presentation. But again, you can get lists done uh, create a list of the easiest vegan. I'm into this vegan thing right now. Temporary, I mean, periodic. It's not all day. Trust me. It vegan recipes to make at home in less than 30 minutes. So I'm giving some strong parameters here. Send it. There we go. There we go. Okay. It even gives instructions on this. Okay. All right, I need to stop. But anyway, I do guys. But again, you can get some very important information. It's the your imagination is the only thing limiting you. Okay. So list prompts is another type of prompt. Instructional, how to create a step-by-step guide on how to do this. Generate instructions for creating a professional business email signature. And then now this is a great way to save you time. So if you're, again, about content marketing, being you marketing your business to the world, little quick how-to guides on how to do things that relate to your industry, that you can do, that you go back, and I've said this before and I'll continue to say it, that you still go back and proof this. You still go back and, look, modify and edit the words that the AI gives you to make sure that it's in your tone, in your brand message, your mission, vision kind of brand message. But again, it makes it just so much more efficient to quickly throw this stuff out there. I love this one. Create instructions for setting up and managing a customer loyalty program. I know one of my clients just recently did that for his food meal prep company and used that in his marketing materials. So instructional prompts are another form of prompt. An additional is keyword prompts. So keyword prompts work by generating suggestions or content based on specific keywords provided by the user. They provide users with a convenient way to generate content ideas or draft text for various purposes, such as emails or marketing or blog posts, based on specific keywords. So in my web world, in producing blog posts, some of my keywords are, Louisiana web design, Louisiana web design agency, affordable web design, things of that nature. I can go in and put these keyword prompts so that it creates a article that has those keywords interwoven inside of it. Because as we talked about when we did the Google Analytics and the Google search things, for organic results, you want a good solid quantity of keywords about your industry throughout your website and as you update it. So that's one way of directly doing that, is by giving the AI program, the AI platform, your specific keywords, and so that it'll create content for that. Again, going kind of back to branding, marketing, web development, as one month I may put in my branding keywords. The next month I may put in the marketing keywords, social media keywords, website, and have content quickly created for me that relates to my company. And so then therefore I take and edit that, proof that, and then put that on a blog post. So keywords or prompts are another way of using the AI model to get what you're looking for, specifically for search results. Interactive prompts is another prompt that works by engaging users in like a dynamic conversation or interaction with the AI system. It provides users with personalized and interactive experience, allowing them to engage in conversations or tasks with the AI system. So for example, one of the big ways of this is to incorporate the customer support chatbot using AI, that you can actually build onto your website. And so that answers frequently asked questions, provides product and service information, offers assistance with warranties and defects and other issues. You build this into the chatbot. Basically, you're feeding this chatbot this information that then you go plug into your website, And so there's this major database of information, like you would answering questions for customers, that when someone is chatting and you're not necessarily online, they'll be able to get those information. They'll be able to get that information. And one of the key things we know in marketing is the longer I can engage somebody, answer their questions via web, via a chat bot, where it may be 9 o'clock at night where I'm not going to be online, the more likelihood they are to decide that they want more information about your company and your product or service, or actually buy from you. A product recommendation quiz is, for example, you can do that as an interactive prompt. Could be a product recommendation on an e-commerce website that asks users about what their preferences are, what their needs, what their budget, and then it generates a personalized product recommendation from your e-commerce website based on their responses. So if if you're selling things online, you can create that quiz interactivity chat bot there that you can say, what are you looking for? What are your needs? What are your budget? What are your preferences? And then it already has your product database in it, and it can say, well, we suggest these products and services, just like it was if it was you. So that's another great way of using AI tools. So again, how do they work? Well, you ask it something, right? The query is analyzed by natural language understanding, which is part of natural language processing. And it interprets, the AI model interprets the conversation and questions, and it generates relevant outputs. The natural language processing algorithms analyze data points within the questions and inside the queries. It collaborates with machine learning and other AI tasks in a 3-stage process. So ask the query, it processes it, and then it provides you the answer on that. So what about you all? What are some of your experiences on using AI prompts, and what have you found to work well for you or not so well for you?
Get the ball rolling if nobody else wants to start. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kind of tedious legal stuff that AI is really good for. I mean, for us, we have a board of directors, and if I want to put a resolution together for a meeting, you just say, write a board resolution for Flyte for this date, to say, these things, and it'll spit out a really, concise, good, legally sound document that we can use in that. So, that's one thing that I've used it for. Others, I mean, I wanted to put together an errors and omissions statement for Flyte. You again just put in a few prompts, came out with a really good errors and omissions statement. So a lot of a lot of the kind of back office side of things can be helped with AI. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It gives you good suggestions. Like if we wanted to do a survey and I wanted to just kind of run some ideas through ChatGPT, because I don't have a team of people to bounce stuff off of.
Right.
I'll just be like, okay, what would you include in this survey about about X? How would you present the questions? And sometimes the stuff is good, sometimes it's not so good. It's just it's like an extra brain in the room for me.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of times a lot smarter.
Yeah, it's a lot smarter
A
than I
lot
am.
smarter.
And it certainly
I'm not even saying.
knows a
Not,
lot more than I do.
Does a hell of a lot more than I do.
But yeah, it wouldn't be great company at a bar, but maybe.
I don't know. I've hung out. I've actually played my Chat GPT out or while sitting at a bar.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Sometimes they tell some
Then,
pretty good jokes.
yes, and then was questioning some some drinks because I was at a wonderful place in Baton Rouge called Hayride Scandal, and I'm familiar with a Manhattan, but they were talking about they're promoting a gin Manhattan, which was fascinating to me. And so the bartender and I got, and I'm using Chat GPT. We're having this conversation, so you can use Chat GPT in a bar. Um,
That is true.
I'm gonna give an example about how detailed you can get into some of this stuff. So we're gonna start from scratch. So I want to create a 6 weeks mindfulness program for young men age 15 through 17 who are socially and economically disadvantaged. It is advantaged in a rural community in Louisiana. I want to use mindfulness principles, but mask to relatable topics and subjects that these young men can make with where and I will. All right, let's see what it is. This is a new one for me. I never got this detailed on this part of it. I've just gotten more general. I really didn't ask it a question there. Nope. Nope, it did it. Never mind. I already do this part, the mindful dribbling. Okay, nice. I like this. So it's using, because what I specifically asked for, as you saw, were the topics that were relatable to kids without the woo-woo of mindfulness and meditation. So they suggested week one is sports, week music, nature, outdoors activities. Communication is a big part of what I'm really wanting to do in this program to help them understand how to better communicate internally and externally. Mindfulness and technology, talking about, oh, this is great. I'm saving this. And then working on setting goals and visualizations. Okay. Now, here we go. Let's take it to the next step. This is great. I want to apply for a grant to help fund this program through a nonprofit, through a local nonprofit. Through the grant is available up to, let's say, $10,000. Can you help me create a budget for the program based on okay. It even filled in the numbers, which is pretty fascinating. Of course, you'll go through and be looking at, but again, it's putting all this stuff, some of this may be relevant, some of this may not be relevant, but what it is, it's giving me something I don't understand how to map out a very detailed list on how to go through and guess at how much I'm going to need. So for this one, out of the 10,000, it said based on 5870, but it also gave me budget justification, which for those that have done grants before, you're going to need to do that. You're going to need to explain why these things are necessary. Okay. And again, I always emphasize you're going to have to go back through this line by line and item by item and make sure that they fit what it is you're trying to do. Okay. Oop, I've done hit the limit of the free plan. So I can't ask ChatGPT anything else for 24 hours. 5:36 p.m. I can ask ChatGPT. I've been using it a lot. The next thing I would have done if I didn't have if I had more keyword budget, is I would have said research outcomes. Can you help me put together some data points that will support this type of program for this type of market where I'm trying to influence, and give me a set of expected outcomes and data sources that I can go pull for reference points. So again, in the matter of 3 or 4 minutes that I did this, this is some amazing information that has given me a platform to start with, a foundation that then I will take and expand on. But I mean, it really does blow me away. I don't want to lose that one because that gave me some great ideas. Okay. So you can kind of see how interactive and detailed you can go with it. Creating physical charts, creating budgets. I mean, think about, how you can use, what are some of the ways you think you could use that, in reaching some of your financial goals that you're doing through the Flyte program, just the things of that nature. Or, during a, upcoming Flyte class, if there's something you want more information or you want to tailor it for yourself, using the Chat GPT AI function to create worksheets or databases or things like that that you can do, or help you set goals. It's just mind-boggling what you can do with it. I see Contessa Co Nola has not used it at all. I look forward to you using it and then coming back to me, be like, how did I live without this? So let's see what else we have. Any other questions for this AI marketing clinic that I can possibly touch on? Oh, wow, Charmaine, I bet you're going to be using it in that master's program, that you're going to have to make sure and watch out for plagiarism, or because they also have ways of running AI, like, I don't know, your tests or your reports that you give, right? That they can run it through a model to see if this was humanly created, or the factors in here that may say that it was AI created. So, I don't want to get you kicked out of master's program. So you got to be, but it can help you. Again, a lot of times we're just looking for some groundwork assistance to help boot us into the next level. Okay. All right. Well, Bigby, do you have anything else to add?
No, no. I'm glad that for a lot of people, this seems like the first time, or maybe they've heard of ChatGPT, or I've definitely heard of AI, but they haven't used it. My strong advice is to use this as an opportunity. Again, September, no learning, but it's a good way to embed some knowledge. So check out ChatGPT. It's free. There's so many useful ways you can implement it into your business. We are going to be revisiting AI in October.
Right.
So this is kind of more of a, I guess, and it is more of an introduction.
Right.
And what I really want to hear is that the folks who joined this session were able to go off, try some things out on ChatGPT. And I already know quite a few businesses in this session. There's certain projects that would really um, benefit from using AI. It would save them a lot of time.
Right.
If you're, drafting a questionnaire, or some internal documentation, or an executive summary. It's really good at taking an executive summary. You can reduce it. You can get some feedback on it from ChatGPT. So that's the kind of thing it's really good at. You know,
Yeah.
or finding you some data that can go into a business plan, things like that. So I'm very glad to hear everyone seems to have learned a lot in this session. I'm afraid my brain will get soft from non-use.
No, because it's only going to
I know you're old
expand.
school, Tessa, and
Right. No, I
that's
got
totally
you.
fine.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
there's nothing, but it's still going to expand the way you use your brain, is what it is.
Yeah,
Because the
exactly.
ground rule is you don't copy and paste it and go stick it on there, but it's going to it'll create new ways of, like, what they call neural pathways of the brain that we aren't using, to know
Hmm.
that we can use them. Because giving an old school answer, to do what I just did in those 4 minutes would have required me going to a library, going to some data source and sifting. Now just and I would know that. I've done that. I've done that in the past. But now that I know on this new neural pathway that I can come in here and instruct and detail and get very granular, that's going to only make, because one of my limiting thoughts before was like, I only have so much time in my life. There's only so much data I'm going to get unless I hire a company to extract data for me. This is letting me know, just by doing that exercise there, I can think of new ways of utilizing this technology to get results that I never thought were possible before. That's
Hmm.
the that's the part that is will never be replaced by AI. That's the part of the human right side brain that will never be duplicated, is what
Hmm.
we can see doing it for our individual selves and our individual businesses to help improvement beyond the limitations of what we feel we have now. God,
100%.
that
I
sounded
couldn't
good. I want
agree.
that
I
recording.
couldn't
That
agree.
was
Well,
good.
I'm recording it, so you can look back on that one.
That was pretty
But
good
yeah,
there.
that's 100%. An absolutely brilliant answer to that, because yes, I mean, I like that analogy where, back in the day before the internet, you go to the library. Once the internet was a bit more widely available, but not everywhere, you'd go to an internet cafe or do some research. If you were lucky, you had a PC at home and you could look at that. Now you have a smartphone, and now you have a smartphone that has artificial intelligence. And so, it is a tool to help you, reduce the amount of time on kind of the lesson. But they're important things, but they're things that you can be done that can be done somewhere else, and then you can focus your brain power on other aspects of running your business. So it is really just freeing up that brain space,
Well, and it
and
removes a
allowing you
lot
to
of
focus.
barriers, because
Yeah.
let's continue kind of down that. Okay, transportation, I have to go here, I have to have money, I have to have resources to do that. It didn't cost me a thing to do what I just did. So it's removing access barriers, it's improving the potentials of what I can do, and it's an educational tool. And I think I just made this note, I hadn't done this in any of my AI presentations. I'm going to do a comparison about Google search versus AI search and look at the
Mm.
two differences and the way you get completely different. Google, well, I don't know if it's always going to be there, but Google, I have to go through different levels of paid advertising, sponsorships, this, that, and the other, trying to sell you something, this, that, and the AI at this point is not selling me anything. It's extracting the data. Wow, that was pretty good.
So along the same lines, you talked about the pros of ChatGPT and some of the cons. I know you use it a lot more than I do. I actually have a hard time wrapping my head around how much I can use it. Like as you were going through, it's like, oh my God, I can use it for that. Oh my God, I can use it for that. But so learned a lot of pros in here. What do you feel some of the cons are from ChatGPT? Like especially in the how you specifically use it, because you and I are similar that way.
that secretly there's a mastermind sitting somewhere collecting all of this information, and then one day
Well, I
is
meant
gonna
more so. Okay, yes, until
that
like the robots take over. I meant
yeah.
more so in terms of like you personally and professionally.
You said
Yeah,
Dr. Evil.
exactly, Dr. Evil.
Exactly. I
Yes.
said that about Google. I said Google is
Yeah.
Dr. Evil's waiting, sit in the room, push a button. Um, what are some of the cons? One of the cons for me is I have trouble reeling it in. Like for me personally, I have
Mm.
trouble reeling all of this in and knowing when enough is enough and how to take this. And so what I would have done was 5 more questions for that grant, right? So I have
Mm-hmm.
80 pages of information. How do I then take that and make that part of a letter of intent without that? So it's almost like a lot of information, and almost like, where do I stop and where do I say, okay, I've got enough. Now let me go do something with it. That's one of the cons of it. Um,
Yeah.
I don't really can't think of I mean, I'm open to that.
Mm. Okay. One of my cons is just trying to translate what it writes into my own voice
Yes.
and not getting lost in the process. Like
Yes.
again, it's so overwhelming of information.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Agreed. It's a little scary. but it is really, really useful stuff. And it's worth, I think every business owner should, you know, should at least try and see if they can speed up some of their processes and elements of running their business using AI, because it really is just such a fantastic tool. I there's certain things where I forget that we have AI, and then I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should try AI, and it's always better, always saves me
And
time, and always comes out with something really good,
it's like the
by and
internet.
large.
It's not going anywhere. It's not
And it's
going
getting
anywhere.
better.
There's
It
no
is a little
stopping this
scary.
train.
It's not going anywhere. That's the thing. And then if you're not doing it, somebody else is, your competitors can do it. So it's you're disadvantaging yourself by not looking at it as a tool,
Robin's
rather
gonna try it, and
than
I
ignoring
can't
it.
wait to hear from Robin what happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, well, Robin is one of my mentees, and I was definitely directing some of my comments to her because I know she has a bunch of documentation she's putting together, and I think ChatGPT would really help would really help with that.
Also,
Um,
okay, I'm okay. One more, and then we'll stop. You know that you can scan documents into a PDF format and feed them into an AI model to text
mhm.
index those. So it'll read those scan. So if you have a bunch of pages that are like not handwritten and can't do that, but like typed pages, you can scan those in a PDF as long as you use like OCR text recognition when you're scanning it. Get it into an Adobe PDF format. Feed that PDF file into an AI model, and it will pull those words out that then are editable text. So let's say you've gotten some like printed legal documents in printed format, you don't have them in electronic format. You could get those and get them into an AI model. And now I'm just thinking, don't have your social security number, all that stuff in there. See, Nicole, this is this is a con for me. My brain just said one thing and it contradicted, and it just, but again, I can take maybe older family documents, older text documents, and get them into an AI understanding model that then I can use to extract and change the data and improve the data. Whew, now I'm worn out.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I hit the
And because
ceiling. I'm
I'm not a
done.
techie person, I'm like, I'm hearing you, but I'm like, I have to see how this is walked through, like step by step. So, yes,
That's good though.
thanks.
Thank you.
All
All right,
right.
everybody. Well, we'll wrap
Thanks,
up.
everybody.
Hope everyone has a good Labor Day holiday and a good Labor Day.
Yes, everyone enjoy, and look forward to, yeah, well, let's do seeing everyone at the learning tomorrow, and then after that, in October. And other than that, everyone take care. Thank you. Bye.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.